Hey guys, Kane here, and in this video we're gonna talk about Avril, what she can do, how strong she is, and when you are able to use her. So first things first, this hero in particular is actually one of my two strongest DPSs on the field, more or less swapping with the Valerie on and off. So, what makes her overpowered? So, probably one of the main things that makes her overpowered is the hero mastery in terms of Arcane 8, which adds magic plus 20, and any magic damage dealt will burn the target for 6 seconds, which is equal to 9% of the target's max HP. Now, before this, she isn't actually doing an incredible amounts of damage from what I noticed. So something like this is actually quite required. And this could probably be more than 50% of her actual damage in the data after the battle. So without this, she isn't really that huge of a DPS, but she's able to do some damage nonetheless. So do you require all of these equipments to get her going? And honestly, you really don't. The only requirement is a couple of sets which you can choose from. So something like this, the Drake or rather Dragon equipment, gives her damage immunity for 5 seconds when she drops below 10%. Basically, this one saves her from dying for a few more seconds, and usually they do focus Avril or Valerie, so it really depends if you should go for it or not. For me, she survives a bit longer, and sometimes that can be the cause of a few of enemy abilities going straight for Avril, or she just survives and carries the fight by destroying enemy backline. The other set which you can do is one moment is from the Clash of Fate. I believe this is the one. Mage active ability stun the enemies in the target area for 2 seconds. Now this is actually probably one of the more powerful ones, considering her abilities have a decent AoE range and you can cast like 4 of them. So that could be a total of like 8 seconds of possible CC that you would be able to do on someone or quite a few heroes or even backline. Of course, depending if they're not gladiators and stuff like that, who are immune. So that is also a way to go for it, but essentially she's like my backline sniper, and if she's too focused by something like maybe gladiators, maybe enemy Avril or Valerie or stuff like that, for me it helps her to survive, and eventually she just wipes the backline with her own blizzard. At least that is what I personally am going for. Maybe the stun one could be a bit more efficient in terms of PvP, but she has a bit more chances to actually die, and if she dies she's not able to do that amount of damage, so do keep in mind. Now in terms of for the other equipment, I have the Drake set, which grants all abilities plus 1. However, you don't really require all abilities plus 1. What you can use for the weapon is the Flawless Frostborn Scepter, which increases damage from frost abilities. And then in terms of trinkets, there are a few choices, which are 1 second, something like Rapid Cast in terms of the Flawless Orb, or there are a few other substitutes in terms of, I think, orange or purple trinkets until you reach a specific void stage. And then it comes down to what you require some in terms of like something else. If you're blizzarding frontline to clear it faster, then you may want the pistol. If you're trying for the backline, you may want to get a trinket which will increase her blizzard plus 1. In terms of artifact, I'm using the Malinock Codex. It reduces the ability cost, invulnerability, cooldown reduced, magic damage, and mana ability damage. And this one probably can increase the burn effect as well. So, in terms of the prisms, you do require the True Emerald with the Wave Power, which increases her attack, and attack scales all of the damage that she is able to do from Glacial Shard Blizzard, Nova, and even the burn from the I do believe Hero Mastery. The higher the attack, the better the effect of all of her abilities and even some add-ons that she may have. So Wave Power grants her currently 63% attack, and also upon casting an ability increases attack by 40% ish for 15 seconds, and it can stack. So depending when you cast it, essentially this can pretty much overpower her, and that is why she's kind of doing that insane amount of damage. Now for the abilities. So I am using these abilities for now. What's pretty much important is the rapid cast, the glacial shard, and then you probably want to add gifted mage in there for those magic attribute points. So if you win in magic, you essentially get more magic attack as well and stuff like that. Some people use max level Blizzard. Honestly, I tried it myself. It didn't perform as good as something like this for a few fights. And then I just rolled this and she performed quite a bit better than the previous fights. But it can also mean like resistances and stuff like that. So honestly, kind of started doing better with this sort of build, so it kind of is working for me, I suppose. If you want to change it, you can just, let's say, change these two numbers, and essentially it can be probably fine. However, she will be down by about 20 or 30 magic. Or if you're using other equipment, which would be flawless and stuff like that, she could be even more. Now, in terms of skins, getting a skin like this is actually pretty darn good. For example, she has 3.5 million attack, right? So if I would not have this skin, which grants 10% damage, she would actually be like 3.2 million attack right now. So that skin alone currently is granting my Avril about 350,000 attack, which again transfers to her blizzard damage, to burn damage, not all of it, but some percentage of the attack value is always added onto those skills and effects. So the more attack you have, the better the effect. And if I get my Avril higher level, I get my draconic talents with the hero attack and stuff like that. All of these will eventually scale up and actually have my heroes perform incredibly well. So that is also one of the better things. So we can check some of my previous dual tower fights and see how much damage she has done. Now, I didn't actually have any good fights, so majority of these fights are pretty much just basic, just to check the damage capability she's able to do. So as you can see, Valerie 540, Avril 510. The other fight, I do believe she died fairly quickly in this one with Valerie, so she did only 250 million. Then let's check the fight I lost. She did 1 billion damage, almost as well as Valerie. Let's check another final loss. Essentially, that burn damage makes it so she can scale up to some incredible numbers. Here, she probably died very early on since she goes to like frontline or whatever, and Valerie was alive for a lot longer. So, not really that much I can show, but as you can see, she's usually the top DPS with my Valerie. It really depends on circumstances and how long she's able to survive and do some stuff. So let's check this one. Avril top DPS, Nora and Valeria below. So as you can see, she's pretty much one of my top DPSs on the field. Now, in terms of early game, I'm not entirely sure whether or not she can actually perform incredibly well. I don't think many people are using her because it requires kind of the arcanate ability to really, really get her going. A majority of the people just use something like Ruffier instead to go onto the backliners. And in terms of the late game-ish or stepping onto the late game like 10 to 15 million or 13 to like 15 million. I don't think that many people are using Avrils on their field, or at least good ones. Like, for example, Stratego, she's top 3 DPS, and for the other guy, she's barely even making top 5. Then we scroll down a bit. 15 million on, let's see, Avril top DPS, and on the other side, Avril 200. So probably he swapped Arcanate on some other hero instead. Now, in terms of scaling, when you have a hero mastery in terms of Arcane 8, which does targets max HP damage, this unit, or rather this hero, is not gonna scale down and become weaker and weaker as time progresses. She's still gonna do that HP percent damage, and that's why even those people about 14 to 15 million core, they still have Avrils doing like 2 billion points of damage if they are not focused and they don't die. So essentially, this particular arcane mastery can work on a couple of heroes, but majority of the people do use it for Avril since she has a pretty decent AoE skill and she's able to do quite a lot of damage with it and reproc this ability quite a bit more often than some other heroes. Sorry, my cold is kicking in again. So honestly, I kind of skipped her myself for like a few months after Castle 40, and then I tried to put her in, and I never removed her after that. So if you're not using Avril, she is probably one of the stronger DPSs in terms of mages currently in the game. So do keep in mind you may want to put her in your formation if you do not have her. But do keep in mind the equipment sort of matter, the artifact, the prism do also matter, the same as for the attack value. So if your attack value is rather quite low and you still have that Arcanate Mastery, she's not gonna do a decent amounts of damage. Since again, this value scales all the other damages and then she's able to do a decent amount of work on the enemy field. So again, do keep that in mind. Anyways, that's pretty much it for the video. Thanks for watching, guys. And if you did enjoy the video, please do hit that subscribe button. It would help me out a lot. Take care and stay safe out there.